Process server training. How to become a process server. One of the things you got to do in California is you have to get a license to become a process server. And so in essence, you have to pay a fee. You have to go to your recorder's office, get fingerprinted, and get a process server bond as well. And so, do you have your process server license with you?
I do.
Can I see it? You don't mind if I show it to everybody? How long would it take you to get your process server license once you went down there?
I think 2 weeks at the longest.
So here's a license, what they look like. Takes about 2 weeks, and probably the longest part was to get the bond back.
Yeah, I think that was maybe 7 to 10 days, something like that.
Because they want the original. So you have to get it, and then they take it back down to the recorder's office, and then you take your little passport photo, and pay your money, and as long as you've got a clean record, you can become a processor.
Oh, I did the live scan fingerprint.
Right.
Yeah, at UPS.
Right. And there's no requirements for education, training, or anything to become a process server. It's just pay the money and have a clean record.
Right.
Some states don't even require licensing. You just say you're a process server and you can become a processor.
Right.
But in California, they require that you have a license.
Right.
And so I'm a private investigator and I'm exempt from licensing as a process server.
Okay.
But I have registered process servers that work for me, and I subcontract a lot of my process server work to people that take my training. If I get a lead in your area, if they're going to pay me $200 to go serve it, I'll give you half.
Okay.
Go serve it, $100, we split it, whatever it is. That's how I do it. I don't work like these other companies that give you $20, $30 a serve, and you got to make 4 or 5 trips.
Right.
No, you should be doing it on your own and getting all the money.
Still $100 at 3 attempts is still really good. So.
Exactly. That's $30 a trip. That's more than an Uber trip.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's more than riding Uber. You know.
Oh,
and the reason I like process serving is because you make good money, and there's not a lot of follow up. Because as a private investigator, I do an investigation. I got to write a report.
Right.
I got to collect evidence. Sometimes I got to go to, follow up with attorneys.
Right.
Go to court and testify. But a process server, I show up at your house, knock on your door. Hi, is your name John Smith? I got some papers for you. Hand it to John Smith, and I leave.
Right.
And I got one piece of paper I fill out, a proof of service form, give it to who hired me, and I'm done. That's it. No follow up.
Yeah.
I love that. I like, it's not that hard. It's really not that dangerous.
Right.
It's how much you want to do it.
Right.
And so it's like, what do process servers do? Well, we notify people that are involved in a court case by delivering legal papers to them. And those legal papers can be restraining orders, which are like domestic violence restraining orders, civil harassment restraining orders, elder abuse restraining orders, workplace violence restraining orders. You can serve subpoenas for business records. You can serve the small claims papers, which is the SC 100 plaintiff's claim, in order to go to small claims court. That's the form number in California. You can serve divorce papers.
Yeah.
Got those many a times. I can serve myself. They caught me at work.
That's probably a really good niche right there. Divorce.
It is. It is. If you can figure out how to niche into it, and we can talk about how to niche it later on. But yes, that's what I recommend: is everything you do, you niche it.
Right.
And then child custody papers is another common one that I get, where they need it done today. I mean, I'll get those. They'll call me and say, "Hey, my baby's mama's getting ready to move out of state, and I got these papers. Can you serve her today?"
Damn.
Yes, I can. I just need instructions, a copy of the paperwork, and pay me.
Okay.
And I'll go try to get her served. Other things you can serve, you serve a lot of, is civil lawsuit papers, where you have people suing corporations or suing people.
Okay.
And the complaint and the summons is usually the forms that are involved, and then you just serve those forms. As
the actual business?
As the business or the person.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then it's like, who do process servers serve? People, businesses. It's simple.
Yeah, just 2 things, right?
Person hires me to serve divorce papers, going to a person. Person hires me to serve a subpoena for business records because they're getting a divorce and they want to find out how much money their husband's got in his account. Well, I might be going to serve a subpoena for business records on a corporation.
Right.
And so, you know, those are the things that I serve, and I love serving corporations because it's easy.
Like for instance, I got someone rear-ended me, and he was underinsured. So my attorney got the money from his insurance, but then they were able to try to find his bank account assets. So I figure they hired someone to look into, like, subpoena his assets, so to speak. So they used the process server probably for that?
It could have been that.
Okay.
You know, it depends if you were already in a court case or not. Because I get subpoenas for bank records all the time from people, you know, and in my area, there's an organization called Corporation Services Company doing business as CSC Lawyers, and they're located at 2710 Gateway Oaks Drive, Suite 150N, Sacramento, California, 95833.
Oh man, you must have been there a million times.
I go every day. Wow. I love that place.
Oh, okay.
You walk in, hand it to the secretary, write her name down, leave, fill out a proof of service form, and you're done.
Oh, wow.
And people pay me good money to do that because that's who has to be served for corporations. You have to serve their registered agent.
Okay.
Okay. And so who do process servers work for? Individuals, people, law firms hire me, grandparents hire me because they're paying for their daughter to serve papers on her ex-husband. Corporations hire me because they've done business and the person didn't pay them, so they filed a civil action. Lots of times it's small claims.
Okay.
And so they'll hire me to go serve the small claims paper.
Would you say 50% of your clients are attorneys and the other 50% are just regular citizens?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because see, one of my niches is serving corporations here in the Sacramento.
Okay.
And most of the time it's people out of town that are attorneys calling to serve the corporations.
Oh, they're not even in the state or?
Yeah, I get them out of state as well.
Oh,
I get them
wow.
out of the state. I mean,
yeah.
You know, and I get them in state.
Okay.
And then I'll get calls from people that need people served or corporations served. So it's about 50-50.
Okay.
You know, but I serve government agencies like Department of Motor Vehicles here in Sacramento. That's one of my niches. And I serve legal documents there. It's mostly subpoenas for business records.
Okay.
And then one thing lots of people want to know is how much can a process server earn? I've made $800 a day as a process server, not every day, but every now and then.
Right.
And so if my base rate is $125, how many of those do I need to live comfortably?
Yeah, exactly.
2 or 3 a day?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, 2 or 3 a day, it can be done.
Right.
Because all you do, show up, knock on the door, drop the documents off, fill out a form, and you leave.
Right.
And that's it. And so another thing we want to talk about is how to properly serve someone.
Exactly.
Okay? One of the things you need to do is you need to know who you're serving. So if a person is identified, John Smith is the name, they give you the address where the person is, you go knock on the door or see them out front, say, hi, are you John Smith? And they say, yes, sir. You know, and then you hand them the documents and then you leave. That's personal service.
Okay.
Okay? Or if you go and they identify themselves as John Smith, but they just, oh, I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it. Just drop it at their feet.
Okay.
Personal service.
Okay. Does it have to be at the threshold of the door, or what if they were standing on their driveway on the property? Is there a difference? Can you still drop it at their feet?
Now, you have to understand, I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice.
Yeah.
But this is what I have done.
Okay. Okay.
As long as I'm in your presence, which means I drop it at your feet. It might touch you, it might not, but I wouldn't be 30 feet away and drop it at your feet. I want to be within 2 or 3 feet of you and drop it at your feet.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I have chased someone and dropped it at their feet as you're served.
Yeah.
So, because I've had people run from me before to get away.
Crazy. All right.
And another funny story is, you might recognize this one. I was hired to serve a small claims here in Rancho Cordova.
Oh yeah.
And they wouldn't open the door. They was avoiding service, and so I ended up parking across the street, trying to be undercover, just so wait for them to come outside. And I look up behind me, and the police is there. They called the police on me.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, and another funny story was somebody's hired me to serve a small claims paper because their dog was attacked in the neighborhood by somebody in the neighborhood had a pit bull.
Okay.
So their dog had to get surgery, you know, whatever kind of medical treatment. And so now they were suing this lady
For the medical
bills.
Yeah.
So I'm already thinking, attack dog, mean dog. I go knock on the door. She's got a security door and then a regular door
Right.
and it's not even really closed or latched or anything.
Oh, damn.
So what I do is, on cases like that, is I will put my foot on the outside of the security door to make sure that it can't open any further as I knock on the door. Lady opens the door. Who is it? Hi, I'm Lance. I'm a process server. Are you Jane Doe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. What do you got? Legal papers. So she tried to slam the door, but she had 2 dogs inside that were trying to get out. One was a big pit bull, and the other one was a Chihuahua. So the Chihuahua got locked in between the security door and the other door.
Oh, damn.
So I'm holding the door. She's on the other side. The Chihuahua's inside the thing. And I'm thinking, okay, she's eventually going to open the door back again to get her dog.
Yeah.
And as soon as she did, I slipped that thing and dropped it. Personal service.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was able to serve her, you know, personally, because sometimes people just don't open the door.
Right.
And you just can't serve them. I mean, you have hard to serves, you have easy to serves, and it's just a matter of you have to make your attempts. And when people hire me, they get 3 attempts. Okay. Unless it's like a difficult to serve, where I'll go do a surveillance outside just to sit out there for a couple hours on several different days to try to catch them coming and going.
Right.
So I'm able to serve them.
Now, what happens if you know it's the actual person you're trying to serve, but they like you say, hey, are you Mike Johnson? And you know it's them, but they say, no, I'm not Mike Johnson. What if they don't confirm to you that they're the individual you're trying to serve? Like, just leaving it at their feet, even though you know that's them, but they say they're not who they say they are? Is that...
As long as you're able to justify how you know it's them.
Okay.
I like to get photographs.
Like an actual photograph
and
of the person?
physical descriptions of the person I'm trying to serve.
Got you. Okay.
So when I go and say, are you John Smith? And they say, no, that's not me. I will usually have their picture on my phone and say, doesn't that look like you? Here you go.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
All right.
Or I will try to secretly take a picture of them.
Oh, yeah, it's like you're looking at the text and you say...
It's like it says, you sure that's not got you on this phone? You sure that's not you?
Yeah.
As I'm doing this, are you sure that's not you?
Yeah.
And I'm pulling up my camera.
Okay. All right.
And taking a picture of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
And then I'll show it to the person that hired me. And this is that the guy? Yeah, it's him. And I fill out the proof of service and submit it.
Okay.
And then sometimes if it's a tricky situation as to the service, you may have to do like a little declaration of a report to show how you knew it was them.
Oh, so like basically you're like, the person that had me serve John Smith submitted a picture to me,
right,
via text message,
right,
or something.
and the person at the door matched their physical description, just like the person in the photograph, and you know, and so I served them.
How often do you have to write that little description?
Very few.
Okay.
Very few times.
Okay.
Very few times. Now, that report is like a declaration. If you're unable to serve someone after so many attempts, I complete a declaration and give that to the person that hired me so they can show the court that they didn't make attempts to serve them.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And so one of the things that you have to understand, you know, there's different types of proof of service forms for different types of cases.
So
okay?
Divorce papers are different than custody papers?
Are different than small claims papers, are different than subpoena for business records. So I always ask the person that hires me to provide me the proof of service that they want. So you putting it back on them so that I don't complete the wrong proof of service form. And I learned that the hard way.
Oh, by trial and error?
Yeah, I fill out the wrong one, give it to them, they go to take off work, go to court to file it, get to stand in court for 2 hours and come to find out it was the wrong form.
Okay.
It's my fault.
So there's a different proof of service for each legal document that you serve?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. And the proof of service forms, they all are going to have the same information on them. You're going to need case number, the court address, the parties involved, like the plaintiff and the defendant.
Okay.
You're gonna need the person's name that you served.
Yeah.
The address that you served them and the date and time that you served them.
Okay.
And then the attorney's information that hired you, the person's information that hired you, their name. If it's an attorney, you need their bar number, their address and phone number,
okay,
and who they're representing.
Okay.
That's on just about every proof of service form.
Okay.
So so it's just a matter of each form has different locations for it, but that's all that you need on the proof of service forms.
Okay. So you ask them to provide that before you.
Yeah. And sometimes they don't.
Okay.
So I kind of know which ones to fill out based on the kind of case it is.
Okay.
And one of the reasons I like them to send it to me as well is because they'll pre-populate all of the court field, the court address, all the information will be pre-populated.
Okay.
And all I got to do is put the date and time I served and whom I served and the address and sign it.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you too. So I could be wrong based on what I read, but so can you also serve? So let's say someone wanted you to serve divorce papers on her husband,
mm-hmm.
and her husband worked at, let's say he was a Safeway manager at Safeway.
Okay.
Are you able to go to if you can't catch him at his place of residence, can you serve him at his job Safeway?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you can. I mean, and the thing is that wherever you can gain access,
yeah,
you can serve him.
Okay.
So if he's the manager and doesn't come down when you go to the bank to ask for him, he doesn't. They call him out. He won't come out because he knows he's being served.
Yeah.
You can't serve him. Okay. But if he comes down and you're able to physically serve him, go right ahead. Now, like in Sacramento, there's a couple state agents. No, not state. There's an agency here in Sacramento that it's controlled by a security guard at the desk.
Okay.
And everybody's behind the glass with the card keys. They will not call the person down.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's just a matter of you can't get them, so you have to figure out another way because if it's not related to the company,
right?
Because it's divorce.
That's so crazy though. At the same time, because process servers are part of the legal system, and it's a legal issue. So
mm-hmm.
you would think that a government agency would still try to help someone.
Well, it's not. It's more private companies. It was I want to say it was Golden One, their corporate office.
Golden One. That's I've heard of them.
Yeah, it's over off of what's that street off of Watt Avenue and them side streets.
Okay.
Yeah, they won't let you call employees down for them.
Okay.
But state agencies, they will, because I serve state agencies.
Okay.
Subpoenas and lawsuit papers.
Yeah.
Here in Sacramento, and you go to the security guard, they'll call whoever is on within their agency to come down and accept the subpoena.
Okay.
Yeah, and so then you just get their name and you do your proof of service form with their name on as who you gave it to when you're serving in a state agency.
Okay.
Yeah, that's who you're serving to when you're serving in a state agency.
Now, I was going to ask you, do you wear, every time you attempt to serve, do you wear like a body cam for safety issues, or if someone says, hey, he punched me, and you're like, I didn't touch you, and so you can have that.
Now, there may be legal issues in reference to who and what and how you film, but I have one. Do I wear it all the time? No.
Okay.
But I have it.
What, like a little button cam or something like that?
It's basically it looks like a Bluetooth earpiece.
Oh.
It's got a camera on it.
Oh,
If you watch some of my videos, you'll
yeah, I actually thought it was just your cell phone you're using,
Yeah.
but I'm like, damn, that's good footage for a cell phone. But it's a
Bluetooth.
That's pretty clean.
Earpiece. Yeah,
I need to get me one of those.
You can't even tell that what it is, and it's it films good video.
Yeah.
Download it on your computer,
right on.
and just
Get that on Amazon for like.
Yeah, it was like $90 on Amazon.
That's clean. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get me one of those.
But I mean, the thing is that when I'm serving people, if they're upset, I always put the blame back on the person that hired me. That's a little trick I do. I'd be like, "Are you John Smith? Yeah. What do you got? I got some legal papers, some divorce. What the heck?" I'd be like, "Man, what'd you do to her? You made her mad,
Oh yeah.
And I always flip it so that they're not mad at me. They're more mad at the other person.
Okay.
That
kind of just like switches their gears.
Exactly.
A little bit. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right on.
And so now, with all this stuff, being able to fill out the proof of service forms, knowing how to serve them, every now and then there's what's called a substituted service. So let's just say that you have a small claims estimate. at work.
Right.
Okay, you go to the job, the person's not there. You go back again, the person's not there. You go back again, the person's not there. You can leave a copy of the documents with a person over 18 as long as they're going to agree to give it to the person you're serving. And then you mail a copy to that same address of the complaints of the SC 100. Now that counts as a substituted service. So it has to be either at a person's residence or a place of employment or a place that they receive mail, which could be like a UPS store.
Okay. You have to know they receive mail at the UPS store.
But you might, well, here's this, when somebody gives you a complaint and they says, go serve them at this address, and you show up and it's a UPS store.
Oh,
I get that off lots of times.
Okay.
So you go, you know, and then you just leave it with the front desk and tell them who it's for.
Okay.
And then you mail a copy also
to that
address. Name with that person's name on it, who you're serving.
Okay.
And then on the proof of service form, it's called substituted service. So on the form itself, it tells you, you know, there's a little, you know, because you have to mail a copy and who the person's name that you gave it to.
Right.
And they got to be over 18 and in charge.
Okay.
Somewhat. So it can be a receptionist or their wife or their daughter, you know, or a roommate or whoever's at the house.
Right. And if that person signs it, who's doing the substituted service, they have to pretty much swear that they would testify.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause that's what when you sign a proof of service, you're swearing to that you did what you said you did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So now that you have all of that, it's like, what do you do? You're a process server. What do you do? How do you get business? That's the number one key.
Yeah.
Because you could go work for these little companies and get $25 to go out 5 times.
Yeah.
I ain't doing that. I'm not leaving my house for less than $100.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's where you can, you know, I can help individuals market their process server businesses so they can get a presence online, so that when somebody's looking for a process server in their jurisdiction, your information pops up.
Okay.
In the search engines on Google, Bing, on their computer, so they'll hire you to get the business done.
Okay.
And so that's the hardest part of the business, is getting the clients.
Okay.
But that's what I can teach you how to do.
All right.